Hello, everybody. Matt from Just Stack It. Today, we're going to go over an article that I found on Money Metals, and it is spelling out the death of not only the penny, which I think most of us expected, but it's also spelling out the death of the nickel. It seems that senators, by and large, are starting to get the idea that these need to be excluded from the currency because of their cost to manufacture or to circulate these coins. So let's go over this here. Again, we're on Money Metals, and the title of the article is Rather Than Restoring Soundness in the Dollar, Senators Seek to Debase the Nickel. Fiat currencies that are undergoing inflation eventually reach the point where the smallest unit of account becomes practically worthless. More trouble to handle and account for than it's worth. That is the current state of the cent. Now, this is nothing new. I think most of us have known this for quite some time. It's been that way. And we've all been expecting the death of the cent for a while. But the nickel here surprised me. And it goes on to account Representative Brad Sherman in 2018, referring to pennies as litter on the House floor. Of course, Sherman doesn't take responsibility for his own role in trashing the value of the currency through his support of massive deficit spending and the inflationary monetary system that enables it. It currently costs the government more than 2.5 cents to produce a penny. The cent simply makes no economic sense. The nickel is also now in the red. It costs more than 10 cents to mint and distribute a nickel. Now, that surprised me. I knew we were getting close. I thought, maybe with the rise of some of the precious metals recently and inflation, maybe the costs were going up. Maybe it took we were about breaking even, or maybe we were up to 6 cents a nickel, but it's already 10 cents a nickel. Can you believe that? I'm utterly surprised at that. Last week, Senators Joni Ernest, Republican Iowa, and Maggie Hassan, Democrat New Hampshire, introduced legislation to formally debase the nickel. It would direct the U.S. Mint to produce nickels, which currently contain actual nickel along with copper, out of cheaper materials. So in this case, they're not looking to get rid of the nickel completely. They just want to change the metal. They don't want to use nickel anymore. And nickel is about to not be nickel anymore. Ditching small coins is about more than narrow financial savings. It is also a test for the case of effective governance. Getting rid of the penny is an absolute economic slam dunk. Pennies and nickels are politically resilient. Why? It is a straightforward story of concentrated benefits and dispersed costs that is pretty easy to understand. To stop minting small coins, of course, would hurt the people who mine, refine, and transport the raw materials that go into them. They are unionized government employees at the U.S. Mint with a stake in it. Now, these points, it says in the article, are well taken. However, neither cheapening nor eliminating coins that are too costly to produce is a solution to the underlying problem of currency depreciation. Quarters and dimes, which contain 90% silver up to 1964, have already been debased. So have pennies. They were minted out of copper until 1982, and now they are made mostly of zinc coated in copper. Nickels even included silver between 1942 and 1945, when Congress authorized a temporary removal of the nickel, a critical metal used in World War II production. Most war nickels contain 35% silver. Bullion dealers, including Money Metals Exchange, sell these things now as precious metals, and us as stackers and collectors know, many of us, myself included, have a large portion of my stack in constitutional silver. I have a very large collection of copper pennies through my coin roll hunting. So I think most of us are familiar, and most of us would agree there is intrinsic value in those items. The stuff now today is fake, but that's where this article gets interesting. The coins that circulate today are effectively counterfeit versions of the originals, and so are paper dollar bills. They are holding no punches in this article. The founders defined a dollar in terms of a fixed weight of gold or silver. A modern Federal Reserve note, which cannot be redeemed for any quantity of precious metals, is a counterfeit version of a constitutional dollar. I might have to start buying from Money Metals Exchange just based on this content they're putting out. This is fire. And it's good to hear somebody actually take the stand and speak this way in a more kind of, I guess, somewhat public forum, to put it in writing, to have this stance, and to really put it out there because it's true. And that's why I collect silver certificates. They're not usually that valuable. Some of the notes can be in the higher denominations and things, but in general, I collect silver certificates so that I have a physical record that our money used to be worth something. That's the primary reason. I just think they're super cool that they say payable in silver. That's it. That's almost literally it. I could care less about the dollar that they are, or silver certificate, whatever you would call it. I could care less about it that. I care more about what it stands for and what it represents. And that's why I collect them. And here Money Metals is just going ham on this. The real solutions to the problem with U.S. coinage and currency start with real money. And that is a good point. We need to find a way to get back to sound money. And the death of the penny and the nickel are more than likely right around the corner. I mean, they've already taken the precious metal out of the penny for the most part, and we're still underwater. Even if we pull the nickel out of a nickel and make it out of zinc, I don't think there's a whole lot of life left in it either. And there are some that argue that we're about done with cash altogether now that CBDCs are ushering their way in. So tell me what you think in the comments below. I want to know, how long do you think we have? Do you think they will just pull the nickel out of the nickel? Do you think they will get rid of change altogether and maybe just run with like quarters, round everything to 25 cents? That's a possibility, maybe. But I know this is going to hurt a lot for coin collectors. So tell me what you think in the comments. I appreciate everyone watching. Go watch another video of mine, and I will see you in the next one.